won't have to go over it again. Right. So we're going into, hello everyone. We're finalizing what resolving conflicts at school and in the neighborhood mean. And then I'm going to give an example, 2 examples, and you're going to help me figure out what strategy could we use. Right. So let's say now we had a problem with an older student, as I said, extorting money. Right? Based on the different types of formal strategies, what suits this scenario best? Let's go back on the types of formal strategies. Right. What strategy fits this scenario best? Let's call this case study 1. Anyone? Anyone? Let me pick on.
Yeah, what did you say, sir?
Right. I'm saying we have a case study right here. A problem with the older student extorting money from the younger ones. The class came up with an idea for an anonymous tip-off box. Anyone could post a note about what was happening. Based on the different types of formal strategies, what suits this scenario best? In other words, what strategy did they use to solve the issue that they were having, or solve the conflict rather they were having?
They use a tip-off box to vote to what's happening, sir.
But in other words, what case does that tip-off box fall under, or what action did they do to really find the tip-off box? What strategy did they use to come about this tip-off box? Did they use a counseling? Did they
class meeting?
Exactly, class meeting. So the answer, let's put answer here. Answer is gonna be class meetings. All right, excellent. Let's go to example 2. Example, case study 2. Good. All right. Let's say now I used to bully students. It's kind of ironic. I used to bully students and I didn't know how to stop. Right. So I made a deal with a teacher, for example. Right. And she would come in and prevent me from going over the dark side. So let's see. What strategy did I use, or what strategy do you see happening? Let me read it again. I used to bully other students. I didn't really know how to stop. So I made a deal with a friend that she would step in if she saw me starting to get irritable and do my bullying thing. I also went to those I bullied and apologized. I don't think they trusted me or forgave me right straight away, but I felt better about myself. What strategy was used here? So let me copy the question again. Based on the different types of formal strategies, which was used here? All right, let's go back up. Here's the different type of strategies. So we have now, in the case of myself, right, and someone intervening, right? Anyone? What do you think I used to really solve that problem?
Sir, counseling, sir.
Okay, that's a little bit general.
Our pre-pressure program.
Pressure program. You mean peer mediator? Right, I heard. So you're saying peer mediator, and you'll be correct, because if I said counseling or guidance, then that would really be anyone intervening for me. But if I ask someone, especially like my friend, they are a peer of mine, right, and they're mediating the problem. To mediate means to come to and provide a resolution for me. So you solve the problem through steps, right? So the action that was done was peer mediation. So we call that the peer mediator program. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Okay, so that's really the end of this topic, All right, I told you that we're going along well, but let's give an activity for you to complete till next class. Hashtag activity, but we're not on Instagram. All right, let's see what the activity is. Write it for me. Which issues? No. Identify the strategies. We did that. All right. What types of conflicts do alcohol and?
Sorry, sir, I'm late. Very good. I had a problem with it.
Let me. Okay, welcome, Brandon. Let's take your attendance, right? All right. So we're going through resolving conflicts at school and in the neighborhoods, Brandon. So we just really talk about, for example, if I'm having an issue with a friend and someone steps in to really offer guidance, right? That could be a peer mediator because they resolve the conflict between me and my friend. But now, if I went to someone that is not my friend to help me solve an issue that I'm having internally or to with someone else as well, right? That would be a guidance or counseling. For example, a guidance counselor. And now, if a conglomerate of persons now want to solve an issue in a neighborhood or a school, we call that a class meeting, right? Then now, if we see a person that is not asking us for help, right? We see a person that is doing wrong to another student. We would interject without the need of him asking us, and we call it an anti-bullying program, right? And that's especially designed for a school setting. So what we're doing now, we're giving you an activity for you to do as a part of your homework after class. So the activity says, what types of conflicts do alcohol and drug abuse introduce in a community? In a group, brainstorm your ideas and present them on a poster. Right? Obviously, it's not going to be a literal poster. You're going to use a software called Canva, or really any software that you want to use. But I recommend use canva.com. Right? You're just going to, so it's not going to be in groups. Right? It's going to be in peers. So the first peer that I'm seeing currently is going to be Jada Lee and Brandon. The first peer.
Sir, can I get another peer, sir? I might slow down Jada. Okay, you got that right? I might slow down Jada, sir. With my internet now and then.
I didn't hear you say, but all right. If you're saying you want another partner, sure. Let's see, Jada Lee and Talia. That sounds good. Jada Lee and Talia. That sounds good. And then Brandon now with Beyonce. There we go. All right. So I'm write down those names. So you're gonna use Canva.com. It's free. You get to design posters, flyers, really anything. Use your creativity. All right. But let me write down the group names. So group one. My bad. All right. Group one is Jada Lee, West, and Talia Lake. All right. And let me show you that you have a deadline. So I'm highlighting your names. You should see your names in blue. That means now you're in my system. So if not, I mean system as in here. So now I am expecting the work because now I have a diagram that tells me, hey, Jada Lee right here is having a work to do for social studies, right? As well as Talia. Okay, good. Then now the next person, let me just get rid of that diagram. Next person, group two. Group two. It's gonna be Brandon. What's the last name, Brandon?
Chang.
Brandon Can.
Chang.
Chang, my bad. Brandon Chang and Beyonce Brown.
Green. Green,
my
sir.
bad. All right. Okay. So that's group two. Right. If I check here, it's supposed to tell me that, hey, Brandon and Brandon and Beyonce. Let me check if your names are here. Here we go. Beyonce Green. Excellent. All right. Group three is gonna be Dante. See Dante here. and Janea. Dante, Mardner, and Janea. And Janea. Right? I'm not sure if Janea's last name was as of yet. I'm just gonna put, yeah. Okay, good. Everybody understand what they should do? Let me repeat. You're gonna talk about the different types of conflicts that drug and alcohol abuse can introduce to your community, and then just design a poster displaying the different elements. So, if it's your community, right, you can also talk about how it impacts the neighborhood as well as your personal home, right? So, resolving conflicts in the home. So, you can intertwine those two topics, right? Everybody understand what they should do? All right, I heard a lot of yes sirs. Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. There you go. So that's gonna be our second aspect of the syllabus. So we can call that to do. So almost finished with it. Now the third or the fourth aspect is self-esteem. I know you guys are beaming with self-esteem. All right. So we're gonna go into that topic now. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. All right, I want one intelligent person tell me quickly, what do you think self-esteem really means? If I tell you that, hey, my self-esteem today is high enough.
I wouldn't know because I have none.
So how would you know that you don't have it? All right.
Like if you're confident or not. That's what self-esteem means, sir.
All right, let's see. But to answer your question a while ago, you said you don't know because you don't have any. Well, how would you know you don't have of something you don't know about? That's a little brain teaser for you. But really, self-esteem. Let me give you a definition. Right, this for me. One second. Self-esteem. So we're gonna look directly at the word itself. So break apart the word for me. Self, and then we have esteem. To have something regarding yourself has to do with, my bad, has to do with yourself. All right. The next part of the word esteem, right, really means a sense of importance or value. So if I tell you that I'm esteemed to meet you today, it's of high importance that I met you today, or I value our meeting. So we're gonna say esteem is defined as a sense of importance, specialness, or value. So now we can look at what high self-esteem means and then look at low self-esteem. High self-esteem. High self-esteem. There we go. So when someone say I have high self-esteem, right? They're viewing themselves in a positive but also realistic way, right? They're understanding who they are as a person, recognizing their strengths, and feeling good about themselves, really. So let's write that. So having high self-esteem is about viewing yourself. It's about viewing yourself in a positive, right? So viewing yourself in a positive, realistic way, right? Approaching your own abilities, approaching your own abilities, right? And achievements. Okay? Someone with high self-esteem someone with high self-esteem, right, recognizes and understands recognizes and understands their strengths as well as their weaknesses. So if you say, sir, I don't know the definition because I don't have it, well, that means you don't know if you're having any strength or any weakness, so you're not really alive. Because even if you don't have any self-esteem, right, it's also a case where you haven't even realized that you have weakness if you say you don't know what it is. That makes sense. So we're gonna look now at an alternative, which is low self-esteem. All right. Someone is on the notebook. All right. So low self-esteem now is a mistaken belief right? This is a mistaken belief that we are not as successful and worthy as others. That we are not as successful and worthy as others. All right. Now, I want you to give me a quick scenario. Jada Lee, give me a scenario of a low self esteem person or a moment where you've had low self esteem.
Sir?
Yeah?
Or when what I'm saying?
Repeat?
Sir, can I answer, sir? Sir.
All right. Yeah, you can answer. Yeah, you can go.
Sir, you want me to go ahead and answer, sir?
Right, go ahead and answer.
Like when you're low self-esteem, they start to like cry, start to say negative things about themselves.
Right, exactly. Because we can characterize what happens when someone has low self-esteem, right? They begin to feel that life is very unfair for them, right? And they are victims of this unfairness. So we can write that. So that's the character. That's how you observe when someone has low self-esteem. When they place themselves as the victim in their driver's seat, because they determine who they are, right? No one can tell you who Jada Lee is. No one can tell you who Talia is. You decide. Right? So when you feel like life is unfair and you are really just a victim, right? That means you really portray a low self-esteem. Okay. So you can observe that everyone is unique, and you've been told this when you're young. You're very special, right? But it's a case where we can characterize what you do and determine if you are having low self-esteem or you actually are in high self-esteem. So I'm gonna give you two examples, and then the person down the line is gonna follow along and give me one example. What I mean, I'm gonna say one, and then for example, Jada Lee is gonna say one, and then Brandon's gonna say one. All right, so let me start it off. So I'm gonna say characteristics of people with high self-esteem. Let me create a table. I'm gonna go here and create a table. All right, I'm gonna title it characteristics of people with high self esteem. Excellent. There we go. Don't know why this hasn't. There we go. Okay, excellent. So, characteristics of people with high self esteem. First one, let me give you one. We're going to say that they have confidence in their abilities. Confidence in their abilities. All right, now let me ask Jada Lee. All right.
People who know what they want.
They are decisive. Okay. So we can say that they are decisive. Okay. Anyone else?
What did you say, sir?
So give me some examples of characteristics or things you can really say about high self-esteem persons. Like, what are some things you can say about them?
I am beautiful.
So they have.
I am marvelous.
Right, but in the case of adjectives, like for example, how can you talk about their motivations? Is it the case where they have low motivation, high motivation, right? Which one? They have high motivation, right? They have strong motivation to succeed.
Strong motivation.
Right, exactly. I just threw it there. Strong motivation to succeed, right? Even if they fail or experience disappointment. And something I learned when I was just coming up, people who fail, when they have high self-esteem, they take it as lessons, right? You never fail, you just learn. That's really one I never understood until when I got older, right? So, for example, if you get a test and you got 50%, people that have low self-esteem will look at it and say, "Oh, I failed." Persons who have high self-esteem would say, "Oh, I just have 50% more to go," or "I know where I can continue and correct myself." Right? So they don't look at the hindsight, they look at the the goal, so to speak. Right? Let me give you one more example. They can take care of their physical, emotional, and their mental health. Right? So they're healthy. Right. Now let's look at, though, in contrast, characteristics. So we're gonna say, my bad. Characteristics characteristics of people with low self-esteem. Let's create another table. Here we go. Okay, good. Characteristics of people with low self-esteem. Okay. Now, if you're low self-esteem, really you're looking at the opposite towards what we said. So they are afraid of failure. They're afraid of change. All right. I'll give you those two examples. Afraid of failure. Afraid of change. Any other example? How about Talia?
Say they're depressed.
Sir, what you said?
Yeah, so I heard depressed. Okay. Right. So we can say, in other words, that they neglect their own health, because when you're depressed, really, you become self-deprecative, where you really start to self-destruct. So we could say, really, instead of saying depressed by itself, we can say that they neglect their own health. So we say they neglect their own health. That's where the depression comes into play now. So we're really characterizing people with low self-esteem. Any other example? We can really just look at the opposite towards high self-esteem. So if a high self-esteem person, repeat.
So they're anxious.
Right. So we can say now that anxiousness now leads them not to be confident. So, and you're correct, because if you look at the confidence in high self-esteem, in low self-esteem, that means you will not be confident because you're always anxious. So we can say, therefore, right, they don't have confidence in their own abilities. They don't have confidence in their own abilities and are unable to say what they want or need. But let me put that in two different there we go. So it's two different bullet points. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's quickly close up this. Okay, good. Now, what I want to do is to, before we touch any other topic, I always want to give you an activity to complete. Right? So in this activity now, we're gonna call it hashtag activity. Put hashtag activity. Hashtag activity. Right? You're gonna essentially answer this question. True or false? True or false? Someone with low self-esteem has no skills or abilities. Write a paragraph explaining your answer. All right? Someone with low self-esteem has no skills or abilities. If you agree or disagree, write a paragraph explaining your answer. All right. We're gonna put a pause.
Is that correct now, sir?
No. That's gonna be for your activity for homework. So we're gonna rejoin. All right. Let me just take attendance of Tristan. Welcome, Tristan. We're gonna rejoin now, and then we're gonna continue now into the next topic. Let me just make you take this note off, and then now we're gonna rejoin. Start the next topic. So activity. Someone with low self-esteem has no skills or abilities. Write a paragraph explaining your answer. And then the next topic, right, is where you're gonna self-assess and let me know if you are a person with high self-esteem or low. So I'm gonna give you a little spreadsheet, and then now you're gonna answer yes or no or neutral. Then now you'll know if you are depressed or not. Or I mean, if you have low self-esteem or not. I don't know why depressed came. Okay, let me just take a picture for you. Right, there we go. Excellent. All right, so let's just rejoin.